In Washington, a significant political firestorm is engulfing the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, sparking rare bipartisan fury on Capitol Hill. The controversy centers on the abrupt firing of CDC Director Susan Monarez by the Department of Health and Human Services. Monarez, who was confirmed by the Senate less than a month ago, is now refusing to leave her post. Her legal team argues she has neither resigned nor been formally fired by the president, creating an unprecedented leadership crisis at the nation's top public health agency. The dismissal, reportedly stemming from disagreements over vaccine policy, with HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., a noted vaccine skeptic, has triggered a wave of high-profile resignations. Among those stepping down are Dr. Daniel Jernigan, the director of the National Center for Emerging and Zoonotic Infectious Diseases, Chief Medical Officer Deborah Horry, and the directors for Immunization and Respiratory Diseases and Public Health Data, Dimitri Daskalakis and Jennifer Layden. In his resignation statement, Daskalakis charged that he was, quote, unable to serve in an environment that treats CDC as a tool to generate policies and materials that do not reflect scientific reality. The turmoil has prompted a unified response from the Senate's healthcare panel. Committee Chair, Republican Senator Bill Cassidy of Louisiana, and Ranking Member, Independent Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont, are both demanding action. Senator Cassidy, who was a deciding vote in Secretary Kennedy's confirmation, is now calling for the postponement of a key vaccine advisory panel meeting scheduled for September. He argues that with the panel now filled with Kennedy's hand-picked replacements, and amid serious allegations about the lack of scientific process, any recommendations it makes should be rejected as lacking legitimacy. Senator Sanders has gone further, demanding a full congressional investigation into the Trump administration's decision to fire Monarez. He stated, quote, "We need leaders at the CDC and HHS who are committed to improving public health and have the courage to stand up for science, not officials who have a history of spreading bogus conspiracy theories and disinformation." This clash between the administration and other government leaders extends beyond public health. A sharp disagreement is escalating between the White House and several Democrat-run cities over how to address violent crime. The Trump administration is floating the idea of deploying the National Guard to cities like Chicago, an offer that has been forcefully rejected by Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt addressed the issue on Thursday, sending a direct message to residents of those cities. She said, quote, "Decline is a choice. You don't have to live in constant fear of being robbed, raped, or murdered. Your leaders are lying to you, and they have been failing you for decades." Leavitt urged Governor Pritzker to accept the president's offer for support. However, Pritzker has labeled the potential deployment as unconstitutional and a dangerous power grab, accusing the president of trying to use the military to occupy a U.S. city for political points. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson added that crime in his city is actually down, citing significant reductions in homicides, robberies, and shootings over the past year. The White House has countered by pointing to data showing Chicago has had the highest number of total murders of any U.S. city for 13 consecutive years, though it does not have the highest murder rate per capita. The debate follows President Trump's recent move to mobilize the D.C. National Guard to address crime in the nation's capital, with the president stating he could solve Chicago's crime problem, quote, within 1 week. And while the administration grapples with these current domestic battles, newly declassified documents are shedding new light on a major controversy from a previous era. Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard and CIA Director John Ratcliffe have released documents related to the origins of the FBI's 2016 Trump-Russia investigation, known internally as Crossfire Hurricane. According to these newly available materials, former President Barack Obama was personally present for key meetings with his top intelligence and national security officials that led to critical steps in the opening of that probe. This development adds a new layer to a long-running political dispute. President Trump has repeatedly accused his predecessor of being the ringleader of what he calls the Russiagate narrative. Former President Obama has vehemently denied these allegations. In a statement issued in July, a spokesperson for Obama called the claims outrageous and part of a stream of constant nonsense and misinformation flowing out of this White House. The declassification of these documents ensures that the debate over the origins and conduct of the Trump-Russia investigation will continue to be a prominent feature of the political landscape, providing fresh material for both critics and defenders of the original probe. Turning from intelligence matters to economic policy, a major shift in U.S. trade rules took effect today, potentially impacting online shoppers and international retailers. As of midnight, the United States has officially ended the de minimis trade exemption for all countries worldwide. This rule had long allowed low-value goods, typically those valued under $800, to be imported into the country without facing tariffs or taxes. The policy change was enacted by an order from President Trump on July 30th. Initially, the focus was on blocking this exemption for goods shipped from China and Hong Kong, but the final order expanded it to cover the entire world. The administration's stated rationale for the move is to combat the trafficking of illicit drugs, like fentanyl, which often enter the country in small packages, and to address what it calls unfair trade practices that harm American businesses by allowing foreign competitors to avoid duties. While the move has garnered bipartisan support from politicians who see it as a way to level the playing field for domestic companies, it represents a drastic and rapid change for international shippers, e-commerce giants, and ultimately for American consumers who may see prices rise on goods ordered from abroad. Finally, on the global stage, the United States has approved a significant potential arms sale to aid Ukraine in its ongoing defense against the Russian invasion. The State Department on Thursday gave the green light for a possible $825 million munitions deal. It will significantly improve Ukraine's capacity to conduct self-defense operations and contribute to regional security missions as it continues to face Russian aggression. The deal signals continued strong support from the U.S. and its allies for Ukraine's military efforts.